All right, let's go and take a look at lesson 2.2. 2.2 is all about multiplying polynomials. All right, so if a question looks like this, and it's asking us to multiply these two polynomials, both of which only have two terms, how would we do this? Okay, there's several different ways to do this. Let's go in order of the ways that we can look at it. Well, first, let's use the horizontal method. Okay, the horizontal method says take this first term in the first polynomial and multiply it to everything in the second polynomial. Okay, splitting the algebra the way we know how to, right? And then take the second term in the first polynomial plus 2 and multiply it to everything in the second polynomial. Okay, x times x is x squared, right? They both have an exponent of 1, and 1 plus 1 is 2. X times 4 is 4x. 2 times x is 2x. And 2 times 4 is 8. Okay, so the last thing we need to do is just combine the 4x and the 2x because they're like terms. And so we would get x squared plus 6x plus 8. And that's your answer. Okay. We can also use the vertical method, which is when one is stacked on top of the other. Okay, so let's take a look at what that would look like. So for example, if we had x plus 2 times x minus 5, okay, negative 5 times 2 is negative 10, 5 times x is 5x. Okay. We know that we leave a space right here, and then we would do x times 2, which is 2x, and x times x, which is 1 and 1, so x squared. Okay, and then we can combine this, so we know that this was just plus 0. Negative 10 plus 0 is negative 10. 5 plus 2, 5x plus 2x is 7x, and x squared over here. So our answer in this one was x squared plus 7x minus 10. Right? So we can also use a table, right? So let's say that the question says multiply these two. Okay, multiply these two polynomials. That's a 4. So 2x minus 3 and x plus 4. So if we were to set up a table, a lot of people like doing this way because intuitively it makes sense what they're multiplying. But I believe that the next method that I'm going to show you is even easier. So let's say that that's an x, not a plus sign, right? We want to make it look more like an x. All right. So 2x times x would go in this box, and they both have an exponent of 1, and the coefficient in this one is 1. So 2 times 1 is 2. X times x is x squared, right? Because 1 plus 1, we have to add the exponents when we're multiplying the same base. 2x squared in that box, right? And just to make this look a little bit more simple, right? X times negative 3 is negative 3x. 4 times 2 is 8x. And then 4 times negative 3 is minus 12. Okay, so now we have 2x squared minus 3x plus 8x minus 12. Okay, so to get a final answer, we just need to combine negative 3x plus 8x. So 2x squared, negative 3 plus 8 is 5, so plus 5x minus 12. And there's your answer. All right, now let's take a look at the FOIL method, which as you get more and more used to multiplying polynomials, the FOIL method is going to be the method that you use the most. Okay, so what does FOIL stand for? So FOIL stands for first, so you're going to multiply the first numbers, then you're going to multiply the outer numbers, for outer, then you're going to multiply the inner numbers, the numbers on the inside of both polynomials, and last, you're going to multiply the last numbers in both polynomials. Okay, so FOIL, FOIL, it's really nice and helps us make multiplying a lot faster. So x minus 3 and x plus 2. Okay, so let's say that we were asked to multiply these using the FOIL method. So the first thing we do is we multiply the first terms in both polynomials, right? This one and this one, they show up first in this polynomial, and this one shows up first in this polynomial. So we're going to multiply the first terms that show up in our polynomial. So x times x, same thing as x to the 1 times x to the 1. When you have that, you add the ones and you get x squared, right? X times x is x squared. Now you multiply the outer, right? So we see that this is the outer one because it's like furthest away from everything else, and this is the outer one on that side because it's the furthest away from everything else. So we're gonna multiply the outer ones, okay? So basically we just multiply this to this and then this to that. So x times 2 is 2x, okay? Now we're gonna multiply the inner numbers, and you see how these are in the inside, right? They're closer to each other than anything else is, so they're on the inside of our polynomial. So we'll go minus 3 times x is negative 3x. And then negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. Okay, so now all we gotta do is combine the like terms in the middle. So we have x squared. 2 minus 3 is negative 1. So 2x minus 3x is negative 1x. Okay, and then minus 6 on the end. That is it. Okay, so let's take a look at FOIL one more time. Because eventually this will be the method that you go to. This will be the go-to method for everyone. So let's go and take a look at that again. All right, so 2x plus 1 and 3. Let's go 4x minus 2. Okay, so 2x plus 1 times 4x minus 2. Right, first is the first terms that show up in both polynomials. So this one shows up first in this one shows up first in this one. 2 times 4 is 8. X times x is x squared, right? Remember that, x times x is x squared. 2x times negative 2, 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. The x tags along. And then this one, 1 times 4 is 4. The x tags along, so plus 1x, sorry, plus 4x. And then 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. Now, minus 4x plus 4x, negative 4 plus 4 is 0, so we have 0x, so we don't have to write that. 8x squared, we don't have to write that, right? And so minus 2. And that's your answer.